Recording in progress.
Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting for the Carpinteria Valley Water District to order. Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Then the roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor.
Aye.
Present.
Director Holcomb. Here. Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts.
Here.
Director Van Wingerden.
Yes.
4 present.
And then item 3, and agenda confirmation. Kelly, you want to make any changes?
No changes to the agenda. I just wanted to clarify that for the item 9A, the urban water management plan, that will be adoption by resolution. And we've distributed copies of the proposed resolution to all the board members, and there's also copies available on the table.
Okay, thank you. Then we got item number 4, ceremonial matters. 4A, adopt resolution number 1181, commending Greg Stanford upon his retirement after 21 years of service. And I'm going to read the resolution. Resolution number 1181. Whereas Greg Stanford has faithfully served the Carpinteria Valley Water District for 21 years, demonstrating outstanding leadership, dedication, technical expertise, and commitment to excellence in the Operations and Maintenance Department, culminating in his service as Operations and Maintenance Manager. And whereas throughout his tenure, Greg planned, organized, directed, and coordinated the operation and maintenance of the district water treatment facilities and distribution system, ensuring the reliable delivery of safe, high-quality water to the community. And whereas Greg supervised and participated in the maintenance, inspection, installation, repair, replacement, and improvement of district facilities, distribution infrastructure, meters, and equipment, while promoting the operational efficiency and long-term system reliability. And whereas Greg provided leadership and guidance to district operations personnel through training, supervision, performance evaluation, and fostering a culture of teamwork, professionalism, and accountability. And whereas Greg served as the district safety officer, championing workplace safety through the implementation and enforcement of safety programs, conducting regular safety meetings, and ensuring compliance with applicable safety standards and procedures. And whereas Greg worked closely with district management in planning system improvements, managing operational budget, overseeing inventory and equipment resources, maintaining regulatory compliance, and coordinated with contractors, government agencies, and other stakeholders on matters related to water treatment and distribution. And whereas Greg has been an integral member of the Carpinteria Valley Water District team, earning the respect and appreciation of fellow employees, district leadership, partner agency, and customers through his professionalism, dependability, and unwavering commitment to public service. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Directors hereby extend to Greg Stanford its sincere appreciation, commendation, and gratitude for his many years of exemplary service and significant contribution to the Carpinteria Valley Water District, and further extend its warmest wishes to a healthy, rewarding, and fulfilling retirement. Thanks, Greg. Speech.
You've got 30 minutes.
We need a motion now.
Holly makes a motion to approve the resolution. I don't know, Greg.
Second. You go ahead.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Director O'Connor.
Aye.
Director Holcomb.
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Van Wingerden.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
If we
Also,
could,
go ahead.
oh, did you want to go ahead, Norma? We were thinking maybe we could take a picture too while he's here. Greg is actually in the audience and wanted to take a moment, if that's okay.
Sure.
21 years of service, and we're very appreciative for his leadership and dedication over the years. So thank you, Greg.
No presentation resolution.
No, we'll stand behind you.
All right, Matt, we'll get
I know, I didn't know that we could vote on it.
Everybody dressed up.
Photoshop my time.
All right.
Thank you.
Then we got item number 5, public forum. Any person may address the board of directors on any matter within its jurisdiction, which is not on the agenda. Lisa, anyone? Thank you. Then we got item number 6, the consent agenda. Are there any questions on item 6A, the minutes for the meeting of the board held on June 10th, 2026? No questions. Then item number 6B, disbursement report for May 11, 2026 through June 10, 2026. Any questions? Then can we have a motion, please?
Polly makes a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? A roll call, please.
Director O'Connor,
Aye.
Director Holcomb,
Yes.
Director Balch is absent, Director Roberts,
Aye.
Director Van Wigerden.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Then we're going to adjourn to the regular board meeting of the Carpinteria Groundwater Sustainability Agency. Call the meeting to order. Kelly, agenda confirmation.
No changes to the agenda.
Thank you. Then public forum. Any person may address the board of directors on any matter within its jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. Lisa, anything? Okay. Then we got the item number 4, consent agenda. 4A, the minutes for the meeting of the board held on June 10, 2026. Any questions? Then we got item 4B, the disbursement report for April 11, 2026 through June 10, 2026. Any questions? Then can we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Polly seconds.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? A roll call, please.
Director O'Connor,
Aye.
Director Holcomb,
Yes.
Director Balch is absent, Director Roberts,
Aye.
Director Van Wigerden.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Then we got item number 5, new business. Consider authorization of on-call contract with Pueblo Water Resources in the amount of $20,000 for the fiscal year 2026-2027. Kelly?
Yes, thank you, directors. Pueblo Water Resources has been supporting the Water District and the GSA for many years and is very knowledgeable of the Carpinteria groundwater basin. They were part of the technical team for the groundwater sustainability plan. And throughout the year, we have questions that come up, whether it's questions from private pumpers or questions on, related to expanding our monitoring network. And it's just invaluable to have their expertise available as needed. And we've had them on an on-call services contract for the last year. And so this is a proposal to continue that. And tasks are assigned as they come up. It's just sort of setting it up so that they're available as needed without having to come back to the board every time with these sort of small tasks that come up throughout the year.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have one question. Are there changes in the rates on any of the individual items, that they cover from, this agreement to the prior agreement?
I will leave that up to Robert Marks to answer, who's here from Pueblo Water Resources, but the fee schedule is included in the packet. I don't know how it compares with some of the other contracts that we have.
Yeah, our fee schedule for 26 is a little bit higher from 25. I think it was 2.5–3% increase.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
And then, so I'm assuming that we work with Pueblo forever, but it kind of supplements the engineering team that we have here. So both from a resource perspective and possibly an expertise perspective too.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and for different needs. This is for the GSA needs, which comes up with just having a good understanding of the groundwater basin and the modeling and the hydrogeology and how it works. We are gonna, you'll see as a separate agenda item for the water district, have on-call services separately. That is also has a focus just on the district wells. They were involved with the construction of our wells, so it's technical expertise related to that. It's very valuable.
Thank you.
Okay, can we have a motion then?
Polly makes a motion to authorize the on-call contract with Pueblo Resources in an amount of $20,000 for fiscal year 2026 and 2027. Through 2027.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion, and roll call, please?
Director O'Connor,
Aye.
Director Holcomb,
Yes.
Director Balch is absent, Director Roberts.
Aye.
Director Van Wingerden.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Then we got item number 6A, Executive Director report on the financials. If there's any questions from the board, then I'd like a motion to get it approved, please.
Motion to approve the financial report as presented.
Second?
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion, and roll call, please?
Actually, it's a for information item.
Oh, okay, well, I'm trying to be.
Thanks, though,
efficient.
being proactive.
All right, guys.
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So then we're adjourned for the Groundwater Sustainability Agency, and we're reconvened on a regular meeting for the Carpinteria Valley Water District. Item number 9, new business. 9A, public hearing on the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and Water Shortage Contingency Plan. And Kelly, you want to read that resolution now or later?
Later, and it turns out we might not need to actually read it if since it's been provided to the board. We do have
Okay.
the action shows adoption on the agenda, so we can just
Okay, cool.
mention it'll be adopted by resolution.
Okay. Then
The,
go ahead.
oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, then I'm going to open the public hearing. Item number 2, receive the staff report and recommendations, and that is Kelly and Rob Morrow, Water Systems Consulting.
Yes, thank you. So our urban water management plan, it's something we are required to do every 5 years. It's a state requirement for water agencies over a certain size. And we did have a 2020 urban water management plan, and so this is the update to that plan. We've reviewed it with the board previously, some of the key findings, essentially the comparison of water demand and water supply under normal and drought scenarios, and then posted the full draft plan on our website, which for anyone, it's a pretty interesting read, just if you want some background information on our overall water supply. And to date, have not received any public comments on it, so there's no revision to it since it's been posted. Rob Morrow, I believe, is joining us over Zoom and has a presentation on the urban water management plan.
All right, thank you. For the board, this presentation is very similar to what I presented last month to you, so I'll keep it focused. And obviously we'll answer any questions that we have as they come up. Next slide, please.
Rob, sorry, 1 second. There is a pop-up box that says the host would like you to unmute. I just want to see if we can remove that somehow.
Click stay muted and you're good.
Okay, we're good. All right,
Okay.
continue.
Okay. So we'll just talk about why we're doing the plan, some of the preliminary findings, the water shortage contingency plan aspect, and then next steps. So next slide, and again, next slide. So as Kelly just mentioned, every water agency that has connections, more than 3,000 connections, or serves more than 3,000 acre feet per year across the state is required to submit an urban water management plan every 5 years, and they're due July 1st, 2026, or on the 6s and 1s years. And it's a pretty standard format as far as the reporting goes, so it can be compared across the state. We're looking at 25-year supply and demand horizon, and then the state ties compliance or submitting these with eligibility for grants and loans, and so obviously that's important for the district. Next slide, please. So we're looking at long-term water supply under normal conditions, or really kind of a long-term average, and then drought conditions. And that's a single dry year and a 5-year drought. And they've got a drought risk assessment, which looks at the next 5 years, assuming we entered a deep drought over the next 5 years, and how you would do during that. Talks about water efficiency and conservation. And again, the water shortage contingency plan we'll talk about more later. Next slide, please. So this urban water management plan is an update from the 2020 plan. There's a couple new requirements, but mainly we're updating supply and demand projections. We've got the latest supply projections from the supply alternatives analysis that was presented to the board in January this year. And then the latest growth projections from Santa Barbara County Association of Governments, which was built into the previous demand projections, which was used in the supply alternatives analysis. Next slide, please. So the initial findings, we've got a slight increase in demand over the next 25 years tied to population growth. And, you know, of course, there's as more, as development occurs, the new development is more efficient than historical. So, and then also existing customers tend to get more efficient over time, just as things get replaced in the apartment or houses and such. So a slight increase over time. And again, this projection matches what was used in the supply alternatives analysis presented in January. And then also I'll just note that, you know, this is a long-term average projection. You guys experience ups and downs depending on how wet or dry each year is, and so that's what you see with the historical demand. Next slide, please. So for supply projections, we're using the long-term average yield of the groundwater basin coming out of the groundwater sustainability plan of 1,200 acre-feet per year. And then, but in dry years, we're looking at how much can we pull out of the ground to help meet demand. And the current capacity is about 2,900 acre-feet. And then the future capacity, when Smiley Well is redeveloped, is about 3,600. And that's a little conservative. We're hoping it's going to be a higher number, but we'll find out once we actually drill the well next year. Kachuma project for long-term projections is assuming 75% of the contract amount to account for increased environmental releases for sedimentation and other constraints on use of the supply over time. And then the State Water Project is using the latest projections from DWR using existing conditions, and that includes environmental constraints, other pumping constraints, and then looking ahead and accounting for some climate change in that projection. So decreasing from a long-term average of 54% of your contract to 48%. And then the Carpinteria Advanced Purification Project is assumed to be online in 2029. And so we're including 1,000 acre-feet per year starting that year. So you take that supplies that I just described and put those with the demands, and we've got the next slide, which is 5-year, 25-year projection at 5-year increments, which shows that from the bottom you've got groundwater, then Kachuma project. You see the CAP project coming online by 2030, and then you've got State Water Project on top there. And so I think we're in a position where we knew we were, which is we've got sufficient supplies on a long-term basis, and using those supplies to help prepare for droughts. So the next slide, please. So this these next two are, the first one's looking at just a single dry year, and then the subsequent one is looking at a 5-year drought. So a single dry year is the first year of a drought. Kachuma projects is with the storage it has is typically in a good shape at the beginning of a drought. It's the back end where it starts to have trouble from a yield perspective. And the lowest percentage from a state water project has been 5%, and so that's what we used here. And really, the approach is you're taking all your Kachuma, all your cap supplies, and state water project, and balancing that with groundwater. You know, what you actually use in those conditions, you could pump more groundwater and less state water project, and use less state water project if you want to. But good shape for a single dry year. In the multiple dry year, what we're looking at, this is a theoretical extreme drought over the next 5 years is what's shown here to kind of walk you through what you potentially would experience. And so what it's assuming is the 2014 to 2018 allocations from the Kachuma project, which were the lowest it had on record, and then 15% allocation from the state water project over 5 years, which is the lowest 5-year projection from DWR. So those two are combined, and then we're balancing the pumping, balancing meeting demands with groundwater. Plus, what we're showing is you have some carryover supply right now, and so again, this is theoretical. But if we entered an extreme, the first year of an extreme drought this year, you've got that carryover supply that you could use, and you end up needing it in the second and third year, and so that draws down your use of that supply. And then the way this timing works out is in that fourth year, CAP is online. And so if it hadn't been online, the groundwater pumping would be, 1,000 acre feet higher. And what this is showing is the benefit of CAP to get through those extended droughts. So your groundwater pumping is reasonable.
Rob, I just wanted to mention too, this is a pretty conservative estimate, and it was done kind of earlier in the year. Since this analysis was done, we had Kachuma spilling, which helped, and we also had an increase in our state water allocation, so our current carryover balance is actually higher than what's shown here. And Kachuma's at about 94% of capacity right now. It's pretty full. So this assumes in 2027 a 45% allocation, followed by a 0 allocation from Kachuma in 2028. Not likely to happen with Kachuma storage levels at 94% right now. But it is theoretical. I just wanted to say it's sort of a very conservative analysis of our drought risk for the next 5 years.
Yes, thank you. This is following the template that DWR and the Urban Water Management Plan are looking for. I agree. It doesn't reflect the reality, especially for this year, but it also shows you guys are in a good position to get through an extended drought, especially once CAP is online. And then the next slide is looking at the same thing, but if state water project wasn't used, and really once CAP is online, and for this scenario, that difference is about an additional 300 acre feet per year of pumping in 2029 and 2030, which is very manageable.
And if I
So
could also
that's-
add,
go ahead.
another big project that we have is the Casitas Intertie, which should be, the construction's underway. It should be completed by end of 2027. So that is a potential emergency water supply. We're not including it in our assumptions at this point, but I just wanted to add that that's another, major infrastructure project that helps with reliability during droughts.
Polly?
Hey, Rob, it's Polly. The
Yes.
slide that you're on right now, when it said excluding state water, did they want us to do that? Was that part of their exercise to us?
No,
Okay.
That
I thought
was,
that was-
that was following up on a question from the board at some point during this process,
Okay,
what it would look like.
okay. So it wasn't part of the standard guidelines that they gave us?
That's
Okay.
that's correct. And actually, we're actually just focusing on, we added it for this presentation.
Okay,
So
okay.
It's not part of the plan, though. This is a supplemental
Because I was
side.
curious as to
Yeah.
why they would have done that. Okay, thank you.
yep. Okay, so that was the supply versus demand characterization. I've just got 2 slides on the water shortage contingency plan. Next slide, please. So when you guys prepared this in 2020, it was a big overhaul from what was done previously. So that was the big lift. That was coming out of the previous drought of the mid-aughts, and the state realizing that there were a lot of districts that were not in a good position. And so one of the purposes of this plan is to give the state more visibility on each district's ability to respond to drought, but also formalize a little bit processes and document options. So this is a shortage contingency plan. It's separate from the urban water management plan, so you get updated anytime as you have experience that you want to. It's got 6 water shortage stages. I think the key thing is that it provides a menu of options for the district to choose from, and this isn't a required step by step, but provides all the options to put on the table to help get through a drought. Next slide, please. And so this actually is from the last plan. And there was no changes from the 2020 plan. And so it shows how in the 6 stages, you've got basically a 10% reduction within each stage. And really, from a customer type perspective, gives the district and board some flexibility on how to apply that. Yeah, I don't know, Kelly, do you want to add anything to this one?
Well, what I've found during droughts is it's good to have flexibility. This is really a guide, and then the actual circumstances at the time of drought is something we'll look at as a guide, but then choose the best implementation policy at the time of the, to try and reduce demands. So I don't, there's the shortage levels for goals and how much you want to reduce demands, and then there's different things you can do to get there in terms of restrictions on very specific ways people use water, or I know the district now has a allocation for all customers, which isn't really enforced right now, but it could be a tool during droughts. So we're well positioned, I think, for reducing demands if necessary, if there's a shortage condition.
For either of you, so I know that this doesn't necessarily, I was just trying to remember, it goes back years now. So I know it's a case-by-case basis, Kelly, and we review it, but so the moratorium, at least the discussion for the moratorium, does that kick in stage 4? Does anybody remember? Because I know we got it wrong at one point. We thought it was 3 when we were in real bad shape.
The guide says 4, so under new development, that last row,
Yeah.
no
so
new
that
services.
That is 4, okay.
And
But that applies to us too, okay.
And that would be, that would require additional action by the board to actually implement that. But the guide is that you would consider that in a stage 4.
Okay, thank you.
If there's no more questions, I just have one more slide after this. So today we've got, move one more slide, please. We got the public hearing, which is what's happening right now, and then we'll be asking the board to adopt the urban water management plan and the water shortage contingency plan. And again, we will, after that, we'll compile the required information from today's meeting and put all the materials together and submit it online and get everything together by July 1st. So that's all I have for this item.
I had one more
Polly,
question.
go for
I'm
it.
sorry.
No.
One more question. It was at the beginning of the presentation, Rob. So you said
Yep.
that between this one and the one 5 years ago, that there were just a couple of changes that they gave us. Was it, was it like 80% was the same as what we did in 2020, and there was about 20% that was new, or less than that, or what?
From a requirement standpoint, it's about 95% the same.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And it was mainly, it's actually coming, the urban water use objective from the state, that's, conservation focused. So it was some reporting associated with that that's setting you guys up. But you're in a good position to meet that. So it wasn't a big deal for you guys. There's some other places they're going to have to be investing in conservation.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Kelly, anything else you want to add, or?
Just wanted, so we do have a proposed resolution for adoption, but I think we have to open it up for public comment first before
Right,
the board
okay.
does that.
So then, item number A3, receive public comment. Lisa, anyone or anybody in the audience that wants to speak?
No, nobody?
And hold your peace forever. So, okay. Then I'm going to close the public hearing, and then item number 5, any discussion by the board members? Polly, anything else?
No, I support it, and I know that 5 years ago was the real heavy lifting, so
Matt,
It's easy.
you're good?
Well, I just think it's impressive. I know that our peak water demand before the drought was like up to 4,200 acre feet. We dropped quite a bit during that drought, and I think it reflects more than just conservation, voluntary. I think it represents some persistent things like more efficient washing machines, more efficient toilets. I know when I get a new kitchen faucet, it hardly works. Puts out so little water. It takes part of my day to wait for a glass to fill. Then I think there's also a shift in ag demand. Not only did ag look for efficiencies, I know I participated in a water efficiency audit, and that led to some new technologies being employed at my place, but also some people drilled wells and found a substitute to the district, which is one unique feature of agriculture, is that they can sometimes have a substitute to municipal water. Normally they do, actually. But I just think it's kind of remarkable how the patterns shift, and now our standard demand is like a full 1,000 acre feet, maybe 800 acre feet less than it used to be. And that definitely affects our rates because we're not selling as much as we used to.
Yeah, I think it's impressive for me. It's certainly another learning. The document certainly covers a lot of things that help me understand the background of the basin. The sort of overarching oversight nature of it is pretty obvious too. There's a template, and you got to fill the template, and it doesn't always make sense relative to the conditions that we're in. So I can appreciate that coming from a corporate environment where we're here to help. But having said that, the conditions are obviously very good, and this doesn't really show you that. It shows you the context of what would be an urgency that isn't really likely in this moment. So, we've got to, I think, look at other analyses to help us understand, how good are we? How resilient really are we? As we think about the basin and things that we're doing to inject, with CAP and everything else. So, it's a great report, but I think it's not terribly useful at the moment. We're just kind of checking a box, which is important too.
Well, we don't want to piss off the guys.
You got to do it.
Well, this didn't exist during the drought. I mean, we were really, it was, everybody was kind of making it up as they went along. So maybe we don't need it now, but it sure will come in handy given what we've been through. So.
I think it's very helpful, but also I think there's 2 items Matt mentioned about private pumpers. Last time I checked, to drill a new well for a private pumper is $250,000. It might not cash flow. It'd be cheaper to buy district water than drill a new well. And number one, and also I think it's part of our toolbox is the intertie viscositas. I think that's going to, in the next 5 years, we're going to see what other opportunities there are, and hopefully cheaper water for the district so we can keep our costs low. So it is. Anyhow, you don't have to read the resolution then, Kelly? You do not?
No, our legal counsel confirmed we don't need to.
Right, and we all have a copy in our packet, so then if we can have a motion, please?
I'll move to approve Resolution 1183 as read by title.
Polly seconds.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? A roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Meerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Then we got item number 9B, update on Carpinteria Advanced Purification Project for information. Kelly and then Chris.
Yes, thank you, Director. So we've had a lot going on with the CAP project. Chris is here to give an update on the project schedule and funding and permitting and all things CAP. So take it away, Chris.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. As Kelly just noted, this is our quick agenda for the presentation update on CAP. So I'll review our project schedule, and I've now broken it out into 3 distinct schedules now that we have actual project schedules from our contractors for the conveyance pipeline and the AWPF. So we can go in more detail about what that will look like over the next couple of years. And then a quick funding and financing update, what will be a final update on property acquisition, and then a quick permitting and outreach update. So with that, next slide, please. So what's in front of you is our overall programmatic schedule for the AWPF. And I know there's a lot on here, and I'm not necessarily going to go over everything in fine detail, but this slide was prepared based off of our contractors' baseline schedule that they submitted to us. That schedule is, I think, somewhere on the order of 50 pages long. So this is a very condensed version based on certain process areas and location. I think the few things that I wanted to highlight here, what will occur over the next 6 months or the rest of the year, largely will be demo work and earthwork. So removing all of the asphalt that will be where the AWPF is located. We have a lot of soil improvements to do. The selection for soil improvements that we've elected is deep soil mixing. So they physically go out there and mix the existing soil with the cementitious material to help stabilize the soil and mitigate against liquefaction for the AWPF. That's going to occur somewhere around September timeframe and into October. And then we have some additional soil improvements around our equalization tank, installation of these helical anchors into the ground that will then get bound into the concrete for the EQ tank. Next year is going to be our big year for really elevated construction or above ground construction at the AWPF. So all of our structural concrete, the building, process areas will begin construction. And one important thing that I wanted to note here is that we're starting our startup and commissioning early in the project. This hopefully mitigates against extended commissioning phases. So, their schedule shows them beginning that work in early as kind of Q3 of 27 to begin verifying the work that's been installed, and then with sort of final functional testing beginning in the first part of 2028. And so we kind of have a full year of functional testing. Our main operational testing won't occur until beginning of the second quarter, or kind of between second and third quarter of 2028, but a real healthy timeline for startup and commissioning. Next slide. This is our conveyance pipeline schedule, again, based off of our contractor's proposed schedule. So NTP also issued on the conveyance pipeline. They've done potholing work throughout the entire alignment, and they plan to begin Linden Avenue on Monday. They'll work through Linden and Meadowview between now and September timeframe. And then when they're complete with the north side of the 101, they'll jump to the south side of the 101, working on Olive to the tie-in, followed by final project cleanup and paving and restoration.
The goal is to get that work on the north side of Linden complete over the summer while school is out of session. Because once school starts, they'll have restricted schedules for when they can be doing the work.
Thank you.
Slide.
Yep, please. And finally, this is our well drilling schedule. This is, of course, a planned schedule since we don't have a contractor on board. We're actually intending to go out to bid here any day now. So we'll be going through the bid phase, so bidding, board approval into August timeframe. Hope to bring a award to the board in August. We'll go through a permitting and submittal phase, and then our phased planned approach is to begin the injection well drilling at St. Joe's. Once that is complete, we'll transition over to Meadowview. We've elected to prescribe this schedule to the contractor, principally to avoid drilling Meadowview during the holidays, trying to avoid noise around Thanksgiving and Christmas for the residents in Meadowview. And then beginning after the injection well is done at St. Joe's Church, moving over to the Meadowview, or the monitoring well at St. Joe's, and then moving over to the ag parcel monitoring well after that. I've noted here just so it's clear, because there are times that we'll be drilling and having activities 24/7. So sort of in the blue box is intended to at least illustrate that our 24/7 activities are only a portion of the work that will occur for well drilling, between 3 and 4 weeks for the injection wells, and that's on a relative continuous basis. Monitoring wells, a little less so, with the drill rig needing to be moved. There'll be periods of time where you'll be drilling 24/7 and then stopping while the drill rig moves to its next location. So just wanted to point that out with the schedule.
And we did have a public comment last meeting regarding accommodations for some of the residents. And we did, we will have a upgraded sound wall around the drilling, but our EIR did say the district may provide accommodations for affected, people if the sound is, I think intended, if they're not able to function because of the sound. I've had a couple of residents reach out to me already, kind of trying to figure out the schedule so we can plan ahead, and I'll likely be bringing something to the board to just talk about guidelines or how that process would work for people who would like accommodations during the drilling period.
Maybe before I continue, any questions on our schedule of our 3 major construction projects? Okay. Funding and financing. So the initial disbursement request that we made back in March to the state board for our SRF loan was received in June. So the $7 million that was requested was received, which will go to fund our initial construction work. On the next slide, I'll show a cash flow that will kind of what that looked like. And I'm also very pleased to say that disbursements for construction-related funds were approved by the state. That's related largely to all of our property acquisition that we'll talk about here on the next 2 slides. So therefore, bridge loan is not anticipated at this time.
This was a major effort over the last several months, so it's really good news. I just wanted to thank Chris for all of his help, and also Michael.
Yes.
In the property acquisitions. It's was a significant effort, and I'm really glad we have good news for the board on that.
Really good outcome.
Thank you.
Next slide. So this is our projected cash flow, and you've sort of seen this, or I've shared a similar slide to this in the past. So the line represents our cumulative cash. The blue bars represent the funding disbursements, and then the orange bars below represent our expenses. So all of our construction contracts. The reason why this was important to us is because, in particular, SRF takes a while to receive once you make that initial disbursement request with the state. It's approximately 3 months. So for an agency that may see 3, 4, 5, and upwards of $7 million worth of invoices from a construction contractor, making sure that we have the cash on hand to pay that is important if we're not going to be reimbursed for that for 3 months. So it's something we've been paying attention to for a very long time. Now that we have our schedule in hand, and it's a cash-loaded schedule from the AWPF contractor, so we have a lot more certainty in what we can expect for monthly construction invoices. So that's what we're showing here. In addition to what we're showing here, we've kind of stress test this a little bit more. What would happen, if we got several larger invoices in a row, and by and large, it seemed like with the way that the funding has been set up, because we have many buckets to pull from, by and large, we seem to be okay and have enough comfort and room in what will be the bank account for the project based on our cumulative cash flow.
And we did receive the $7 million, that first disbursement did come through. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, so that initial blue line that you see there, the large one, that represents that initial cash disbursement. The reason why you see effectively nothing for the next 3 months is because we're, really just received our approval to obtain construction funds. So the request that we make at the end of this week will represent the first invoice that we've paid to Walsh and to Sam Hill, plus some other expenses we've accumulated over the last couple of months. So you don't see that hit until 3 months later, hence representing the next larger blue bar. But there's enough cash reserves for the $7 million to carry us through until then.
A question, the grants from the state and the feds, we won't be able to get those till the project is completed, or
Nope, we are requesting them on a monthly basis.
as we go? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah. So the flexibility arises with Title 16, this 18 million that we've gotten from them. They effectively pay immediately. So as soon as we get an invoice from a contractor, we can request compensation or disbursement for that. It's only 25% of what the invoice is, but it's immediate as far as cash flow is concerned.
Right,
It's a
right.
couple of days. Next slide, please. So as noted at the top here, just kind of a final closing the loop here with property rights and acquisition. So we've seen this slide over the last couple of months, and prior updates, there were yellow boxes and uncertainty or about timing about some of these. But at this point in time, we've satisfied to the state that we have all of our property rights. So the last two that we were still working towards was our a vacation on Olive Street. So earlier this week, even on Monday, there was a city council resolution that was adopted for that vacation. There's one more final process, as I understand, before it's finalized, but that should go through. And then for the agricultural parcel, the easements and the permanent and temporary construction easement, those are currently in escrow, and we're waiting for that to close out. Next slide. Don't need to say much here. I think there was a pretty successful groundbreaking ceremony that we had a couple weeks ago. And in terms of outreach for construction, we've provided door hangers to those residents around the Linden corridor, since that's where the principal construction has occurred, that would be that the public would be impacted on, and we'll continue to do so as we move along for the conveyance pipeline project. We've also done some additional targeted outreach to those areas that may be more impacted by pipeline construction, principally. And that's. So, any questions?
Wally, any questions? Mac?
Did we have a slide on permitting?
Yeah, what happened to that?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
We missed a slide somewhere, but.
Yeah, there was a slide on permitting update.
So essentially, it was that Sam Hill and Walsh have obtained all the permits that they need for local, the city. And then we had, for the county, the permit for the ag property monitoring wells has been submitted. We received comments back from the county, and we're working through those. And then on the state level, we have comments back on our Title 22 engineering report. So we're working through that. And actually, the next item on the agenda is related to some of the updates for the Title 22 report required for the state. So.
Yep. Thanks,
right.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll move on to item number 9C, authorize a contract with Montgomery and Associates in the amount of $39,119 for the hydrological services for the Carpinteria Advanced Purification Project for action. Kelly?
Yes, thank you. And I think Rob Morrow is available online for this item as well. But this is just a couple of things that have changed since our original Title 22 engineering report was submitted to the state. We have results of our El Caro spinner test, which has aquifer-specific production. So it's updated hydraulic characteristics. And then we have the new well location for the Meadowview injection well. So we wanted to update the report to reflect those. Originally, there was a groundwater modeling study that was done, but Montgomery and Associates is proposing to do an alternative approach to the analysis where we don't need to use the groundwater model. It's going to be more cost effective to arrive at the answer that we're looking for, to provide feedback to the state on the Title 22 report. So, Rob, before I move on, was there anything else to add regarding that item?
No, I'll just add that budget-wise, we have some budget in there to go back and forth with the state, with the regional board and the Department of Drinking Water, Division of Drinking Water. And we'll be incorporating this in the updates. The Title 22 engineering report will be submitting soon.
So our recommendation is that the board authorize a contract with Montgomery Associates for hydrogeologic services for the Carpinteria Advanced Purification Project in an amount not to exceed $39,119. I will add Montgomery was the firm who did the original groundwater modeling to support the CAP project.
I'll move for that authorization.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Megerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Item number 9D, authorize amendments to the on-call contracts with Elite General Engineer Contractors Incorporated and Sam Hill and Sons Incorporated for action. Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Board. Each year, the district has entered into on-call construction services contracts to have resources on hand as needed for when we have emergency repairs related to pipelines, meters, hydrants, valves, installation of our water distribution lines and pavement and sidewalk curb and gutter repair. Essentially, they work as supplemental staff to our operations crew. We've actually, since we've been short-staffed in the last couple of years, we've really relied on these contracts on some of our work. And so it's really critical to our operations to have these in place. They were set to expire June 30th of 2026. And we are planning to go through a RFQ process, but the reason we haven't started it at this point is we wanted to update the contracts that are used for these services. So we're working through that right now, and probably will be able to release an RFQ this fall. In the meantime, I'm requesting the board authorize an extension of the existing contracts. We solicited a new fee schedule from all three of the existing firms that we have, which are Sam Hill, Elite, and BSM. And BSN did not respond to the request, so we're moving forward with extension of Elite and Sam Hill and Sons. That's, I think, all I have on that item, unless there's any questions. One thing to note is that would be for a not-to-exceed budget of $99,999. Our procurement policy requires us to go out for competitive bids for anything $100,000 and over. So that's just sort of to stay within the constraints of our procurement policy.
Okay, any questions? Go ahead.
Do you have a sense for, on average, the fee increases for the extensions?
I did not examine them in detail in terms of how much they went up. Greg Stanford is here, our operations and maintenance manager, has been in contact with the firms, and I think I didn't bring that information with me, so I don't have an answer for you. But I think that they seemed reasonable at first glance when I looked at them previously.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's just kind of an indicator of what you might expect in the next go-around.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Can we have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to authorize a contract with Montgomery and Associates in the amount of 39. Am I on the right one?
Nope.
No, it's
Sorry.
C, one down.
Yeah, Elite and then.
Authorize
Yes.
the amendments on the on-call contracts with Elite General Engineering Contractors, Inc., and Sam Hill and Sons as presented.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? And roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Wingerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
And item number 9E, ratify the general manager approval of payment to Elite General Engineering in the amount of $59,245.20 for emergency repair at El Caro Lane and Andreas Street for action. Kelly?
So this is an item that was brought forth by the city of, I received a call from the city of Carpinteria. There was a sinkhole that was reported to them, and they also contract with Elite, so had Elite go out and take a look at it and start emergency repairs. Elite has a relationship with the district, and we were contacted, and an investigation was done, and it turns out that it is in a location where we had done a project about 15 years ago, the CZ, the Central Zone Main, which was horizontal directional drilling. And this sinkhole occurred where there was a boring pit to do the directional drilling. So it appears that there was a compaction issue. However, it's been a long enough period of time that it's no longer under warranty with the contractor who did the work. So the city moved forward with the repair and then contacted the district and requested that we pay for it. So this is something that, it did appear to be related to our project. So I did, since it was an emergency repair and the contractor needed to be paid, I did authorize payment of it. And this is requesting ratification from the board on that decision. One of the things that came out of this was I think we had an opportunity to meet with the city of Carpinteria personnel and request more communication when these things occur so that we're contacted immediately. There was a charge of about $5,000 for some of the initial emergency repair related to setting out the plates and traffic safety. And some of that, we have the equipment to do that, so we could have had some savings there if we had been contacted first. So it was an opportunity to improve on our communication protocols going forward, too. So.
How long did it take for them to contact us? We normally work pretty closely with them, I thought.
It was probably within a few days, Greg, was that correct?
It was the next day, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I heard you.
It was the next day.
Okay.
So they got called out, they came and did the initial response of setting the plates and establishing a safe zone. And then the next day, after they started excavating, then they called us and
Okay.
and found out.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good. Can we have a motion for that, or?
Polly makes a motion to ratify the GM approval of the payment to Elite Engineering in the amount of $59,245.20 for emergency repairs at El Caro and Andrea Street.
Second.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? And roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Weerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
And we got item number 9F, authorized payment to Casitas Municipal Water District in an amount up to $30,000 related to a change order request for Ventura, Santa Barbara Counties intertie for action. Kelly?
Yes, so the Casitas Municipal Water District is under construction of the intertie, which will connect Carpinteria's system to Casitas' system. It's about a 1.3 mile pipeline, and this is the alignment. This is the latest information on their website. And so this location on 192 is where the new pipeline will connect with our existing water system. And we were involved, Carpinteria and Casitas worked closely on the design, but as now that we have the construction contractor working on this, there was new information that came to light related to the complexity of the installation of the design. So this was the original design. You can ignore some of these are our comments on the change order. But this is the Carpinteria existing pipeline, and what they were proposing to do is cut the existing pipeline and install a branch for the connection. And in order to do that, it was going to require a major system shutdown. The next valve on our water line is pretty far away, so we'd have about 38 customers out of service and 6 fire hydrants, and it was going to be about 16 hours. So we, after talking through it, thought, well, let's change plans and do a hot tap for the connection, which does not require any shutdown. People will stay in water service. And it's also a much cleaner installation since it won't require all of these flanges and appurtenances. So this was at the request of Carpinteria Water District to do this change order. Casitas had already moved forward with ordering the parts for the original design, so they were able to cancel some of them, but overall the net cost increase was up to $30,000. So they're requesting the district pay the full cost of that since it was at our request. But I do think it's worth it since we will be able to keep people in service during the installation, and it won't take as much time. We can do it in normal business hours. And, longer term, Casitas is taking lead with the funding, so they're paying the contractor and keeping track of costs. And then once the final costs come in, we've already agreed to be responsible for 50% of the infrastructure on Santa Barbara County side of the pipeline. So those payments will be over time. I think they've agreed to implement that through their 30-year loan that they have with the state. So I don't expect we'll have any additional costs in the near term unless we ask for them, but I did think this was important just to try and keep people in service during the installation.
So why didn't they have the hot tap? Why didn't they do it that way in the beginning?
The design engineer at the time, I don't know the reason for that, other than that was just the design engineer's preference. So. But either will work. It's gone through engineering review. So this will.
This solution, it's going to cost more money because they've already bought parts for the old design. So this fix, the change order, is going to make it just so we don't have to shut anybody out.
Correct. Yep. And they'd already bid the project based on this. So.
Other than that, is the design just as sound as it was before?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the confidence level on the estimate of 30K is pretty high.
Yeah, it might be a few $1,000s less than that. So it's just up to 30. It might come in more around 25 or 26,000.
Very good.
Can we have a motion, please?
Polly makes a motion to authorize payment to Casitas Municipal Water District in the amount up to $30,000 related to change order request.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? And roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Wingerden?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Then we got item number 9G, authorize an on-call contract with Pueblo Water Resources in an amount not to exceed $20,000 for the fiscal year 2026, 2027 for action. Kelly?
Yes, we spoke a little about this earlier during the GSA meeting, but Pueblo Water Resources has been supporting the district for over 20 years and is very knowledgeable on our groundwater basin. They've also been involved with the construction of our production wells and monitoring wells, and so just having them as a resource when questions come up is really valuable. And so this is we've had an on-call contract with them previously. This is a proposal to authorize a contract for the next fiscal year for $20,000 for on-call services. And then as tasks come up throughout the year, we would issue task orders as they arise. So I'm requesting that the board authorize a contract with Pueblo Water Resources for on-call hydrologic consulting services for fiscal year 26-27 in an amount not to exceed $20,000, and authorize the general manager to execute the agreement and approve task orders within budget. So
Any questions?
Sorry.
Safe to assume it's a 2 or 3% increase. Thank you.
Well, you can always lower it by 2-3%. I mean, can we have a motion, please?
Polly makes a motion to support the on-call contract with Pueblo Water Resources, not to exceed $20,000 from 26 to 27, and to enter into contractor.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Lisa, roll call, please.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Wingerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Item number 9H, authorize the general manager to execute an agreement with Central Coast Water Authority for a transfer of up to 2,100 acre-feet of the district's 2026 state water supply to Dudley Ridge Water District, Berenda Mesa Water District, Lost Hills Water District, Bell Ridge Water Storage District, and Wheeler Ridge Maricopa Water Storage District collectively. The West Side districts for action, Kelly.
Yes, that's kind of a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of agencies. I'm just going to refer to them as the West Side districts for the presentation. But yes, so it was actually in May, the board authorized participation in the CCWA surplus water program. So this was really just a way to authorize CCWA to pursue water transfer opportunities. There's no commitment to execute a water transfer. It really just allowed for the administration and pursuit of opportunities. There were 4 agencies that elected to participate this year: Carpinteria Valley Water District, La Cumbre Mutual Water District, City of Santa Barbara, and City of Santa Maria. And so there is now an opportunity that CCWA is presenting for our consideration. So that is the reason for discussion today. The actual transfer agreement requires a separate board action, which I'm requesting today. So just a little background on our current water situation. This is water reservoirs across the state. Kachuma is about 94% full. Casitas is pretty, full. San Luis is where our water was stored last year that was at risk of spill. The first 1,000,000 acre feet is the state water portion of the capacity, and it encroached a little bit into the federal portion of capacity, but they worked out some agreement where we were able to retain the water without spilling. But it's overall, the reservoirs are in very good condition across the state, so we're not looking at drought conditions for next year. This is our current water supply balance, and I've presented this on the calendar year since that's what CCWA operates under. So our 3 sources of water are groundwater, Kachuma, and state water, and I'll just walk through each one. So for 2026, we're projecting 1,000 acre feet of groundwater use. For Kachuma, our beginning storage balance in January 2026 was 2,840 acre feet. We were projecting usage for 2026 of 2,645. As of May, our current balance is 2,215, so a little bit higher. The reason for that is Kachuma was spilling earlier this year, and while it's spilling, it's not taking out of our allocation. So that's what helped our, we had about 600 acre feet of additional water because of the spill. So projected carryover balance at the end of calendar year 2026 is 804 acre feet at Kachuma. This number does not include the additional allocation we'll get in October of 2,813. So we're expecting a 100% allocation since the lake is 94% full. So our ending balance for Kachuma at this, at December or January of 2027 is actually going to be a higher than what our balance was at January of 2026. It'll be 800 plus the 2,813. The state water supplies, our beginning balance in January was 3,219. Our projected usage is about roughly 400 acre feet. That's for the ID1 exchange, where we send our treated state water to ID1 in exchange for their Kachuma allocation. It prevents them from having to build a treatment plant to receive their Kachuma water. It also had mutual benefit for the South Coast agencies. We don't have to pump water all the way up to Kachuma. And also that pipeline that we're using to send water to Kachuma actually used to be ID1's raw water pipeline to take water from Kachuma. So it was that ID1 exchange is an agreement from the 1990s, and it was a really great regional partnership with mutual benefits. So our current balance of state water is higher. It's 3,501. That's because our state water allocation has increased since January. It's now at 45%. So our ending balance at the end of calendar year 26 is projected to be 3,188. So roughly the same at the end of the year as it was at the beginning of the year. So our total carryover is projected to be 3,991 before, accounting for next year's new allocations. If we were to sell 2,100 acre feet of that, we'd have a balance of 1,891 of carryover. And the reason I wanted to go over that is we just reviewed our 5-year drought risk assessment. And in this scenario, we assumed 1,260 acre feet of carryover. So we're actually in better shape than this analysis shows. Not to mention with Kachuma being 94% full, we'll get a higher allocation than what's assumed here. So we do have sufficient supplies in the event of dry conditions if we were to sell the 2,100 acre feet.
Kelly? So how do we know that we'll get 100% out of Kachuma? I know it's 94, but stranger
Yeah.
things have happened, and that's kind of where I just get a little bit nervous.
Yeah, we've submitted our request through the county for a 100% allocation. And so I really don't see there's been no discussion of any reduction in the allocation for the next water year.
So the county's pretty confident?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. In the last drought, it was when Kachuma got around 100,000 acre feet that we started looking at the reductions. I don't know if that'll be the same timing, but each year there's an assessment of how much water is in the lake, and there's enough water in the lake storage right now to support a 100% allocation. So just I've kind of covered some of these already, but some considerations for the water sale is that we have projected end of 2026 carryover of 3,188 acre feet, roughly the same as where we were last year. And you may recall just a few months ago, we were looking at a risk of spill and losing about 2,100 acre feet. That was the amount that was exceeding our allocated storage capacity. So spill risk will continue to exist next year unless dry conditions occur. But based on our analyses, that even if we were to sell the 2,100 acre feet of carryover water that could be at risk of spill, we still have sufficient water supplies for drought conditions. The current carryover balance we would have of about 1,100 acre feet is enough to get us through 3 years of water supply. So that's, before accounting for any new allocations that we might get. So I think I'm comfortable saying that 2,100 acre feet is surplus to our projected water supplies over the next 3 years. Another aspect of this is we'll have the interconnection with Casitas, which will also provide for emergency supplies if needed. So as we continue to diversify and work on our water supply projects, we're only going to be in a better position as things go forward. So the opportunity presented by CCWA is with the West Side districts. A summary of the terms are that there's a primary transfer initial water, which has a period of July through September, and the sale price would be $400 per acre foot. And so if we were to sell 2,100 acre feet, that would be $840,000 of revenue to the district. And then there's the secondary transfer for additional water later in the year, which has a lower price. I'd recommend going with the primary transfer at $400 per acre foot. If that fell through for any reason, I'd probably go looking for other opportunities. United Water Conservation District could be a potential entity that might be interested in buying water, so I'd probably reach out to them if this fell through on the $400 per acre foot. And the next steps, it's kind of a quick turnaround here. So by July 3rd, we have to confirm our desire to participate in the terms of the West Side CCWA agreement, which is included in the board packet. And then by July 10th, we'd have to execute the agreement between CCWA and Carpinteria. So I was recommending that the board authorize me to sign the agreement, authorize the general manager to execute the agreement just from the timing perspective of up to 2,100 acre feet of the district's 2026 state water supply to Dudley Ridge Water District, Berenda Mesa Water District, Lost Hills Water District, Bell Ridge Water Storage District, and Wheeler Ridge Maricopa Water District Storage District, collectively West Side districts. And the intent would be under the primary transfer terms for July through September. We also, I was requesting authorization to file a notice of exemption for CEQA if necessary. Typically, that's a voluntary, it's not required. When something is exempt, you don't have to file a notice of exemption, but in the event everyone else is doing it, I thought, well, just for consistency, we should as well. So I was also requesting authorization for that. And there's information in the board packet regarding the specific exemption clauses for CEQA. So
Polly?
$400 an acre foot, wow. How far we've come. So, yeah. I mean, of course I support it. It just makes, if the county's sure that we're going to get the 100%.
yes, and I will also, the county also is, we had recent news that our current Kachuma contract will be extended for 5 years. And so that gives some assurance that, that no changes to the yield of the project for at least 5 years.
For other wildlife. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And so what would be our practice on the revenue from this? Would that go into a water supply reserve or?
That's a good question. We would probably put it into, I don't know which reserve account we would put it into. Norma, do you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, the board it'd be up to the board's decision, but we do have I believe there's $1 million right now for supplemental water, so we could put it in there if that was the board's direction.
Some analysis, I mean, I think that's a great idea if it could be used to set aside for debt relief also.
We can come back with that, decision on which reserve bank it would go into.
Maybe after a little analysis, make some recommendations. I don't want to, this is extraordinary income or non-routine income, and I'd like to direct it somehow.
Right.
Not just have it evaporate. Thanks.
Yeah, forgive me for the naive questions. And I'll try to keep this brief just to make sure I get it all right. So we had a risk of spill that didn't occur. And now we have the opportunity to sell essentially that item of risk elsewhere. CCWA came to us with a likely buyer and a price. So they're aware of where we stand, and they brought us an opportunity to, relieve that risk for all intents.
Yes, the CCWA and the West Side Water Districts have agreed to these terms already. So they haven't executed the agreements yet, but they've had agreement on the terms.
What brings them to us? Are there other agencies that have the same opportunity of, spill that didn't occur and, carry over that they can market? Is there an active market right now as a result?
Potentially, yeah, and it really does sometimes come down to relationships. CCWA is really involved with the other state water contractors, and I believe the new executive director has relationships with a lot of them. So that really helps in opening up some of these opportunities and just knowing who is in a position to buy water.
Sure. Very good. Thanks. I'm definitely in support of it. Appreciate it.
In sorry, case, I think we authorized the sale before, but we weren't able to.
But that was for $200,
It was,
right?
yeah, well, no, I forget the price. I think do you know, Kelly? Was it 400 also?
I don't ever.
Oh, no, it was not 400. I thought it was $200.
It was much less?
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think it was before I joined Carpinteria, probably with United Water Conservation District is what I recall the discussions were. I don't remember the price, but United is a potential buyer. I haven't reached out to them yet. I would if this fell through. They have an existing contract with Casitas, which is a 5-year term, and the sale price varies depending on the allocation amount. So for a 45% allocation, they pay Casitas $475. But that was locked in several years ago.
Yeah, I just point out that that was when we were approaching the winter, and we were afraid it was gonna spill. Now, it didn't, but the opportunity is presenting itself. The unique difference this time, and I can't speak to the price because I don't remember, but we have more time. So this is the same water that could spill this coming winter or late winter. And so it seems like the same decision we're making just over again.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was $200, but if you can verify for our next meeting, let us know. But I support the move ahead with the 400 before it spills.
You are correct. I think you did authorize it, and then it didn't actually
They couldn't-
happen.
Ran out of time.
Transport it quick enough, so.
All right, so I'll make a motion to authorize the sale of up to 2,100 acre feet to the listed agencies, and also to authorize the general manager to file a notice of exemption on the proposed action.
Is there opportunity for public question or comment on this item?
You're welcome to go ahead.
It should be after a
Yeah.
second or not.
Oh, sorry, second. I'm sorry.
We're going
And then we do
to
discussion.
motion is second.
Right.
Now discussion.
We'll make the exemption for the public. Go ahead. Who is this?
Oh, this is Shirley. Hi. Yeah, I remember oftentimes the sale price is connected to the state allocation. And this whole process is very new, pretty much. We've done transfers before with CCWA, but it's been enlarged, and their role in this has been increased. And it sounds like all these buyers are a wide, diverse group of buyers as a block or of some sort. So, and I think we're very lucky to have CCWA being as savvy as they are as far as prices. But the question, if you, and we just have the opportunity to participate if we wanted to. I don't think there was any price on the first agreement, but are you giving any thought to the price and the timing, or is it all too new, or is the beginning of summer the best time to make this decision? So I guess I was just kind of wondering about the thought process, primarily on the price. And also I would ask that as it goes forward, that you really look that the management really look at the fine print, because $400 is $400, but boy, oh boy, and you guys probably know too, there's this fee and this deduction and that, commission, and to really watch that carefully as well. So Yeah, did you, do you have any parameters, planned for the price, or, I understand how you came across the quantity and how we're protected as far as running out of water, but I just had a question about the price.
Well, I believe, so this kind of started at the spring of 2026 when water was at risk of being lost, and that's when CCWA initiated this surplus water program. They will be discussing this item tomorrow at their board meeting, so they might be able to talk a little more on the specifics of the price. I do think you're correct that it varies with the allocation, and so before the allocation went up to 45%, we had a higher unit price. And then as the allocations increase, your unit price goes down. So unfortunately, that did occur. This is the price that was settled on for the current year, which has the 45% allocation is the final state water allocation. And it's slightly less than the deal that Casitas has with United, where they have, $475 per acre foot, but it is still higher than, the deal that the board was considering previously, which Michael found the previous terms, and it was $275 per acre foot.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I think, the $400 is the price that's locked in if we want to continue with this deal, or we could keep shopping around. I don't know that you're going to find something higher. Most likely as the year goes on, if it starts raining and the risk of spill comes back, the price will go down. So.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Shirley, but also, they already told us what they're going to pay in the fall when it starts raining, and it's already half of what they're offering now. So this is a good time to
Well,
make-
that makes difference too.
make
That's
hay.
interesting to know.
So, thanks, Shirley.
And
Yeah.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Director O'Connor,
Aye.
Director Holcomb.
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts.
Aye.
Director Van Wingerden.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Item number 9I, authorize classification and associated salary ranges for a water resource analyst 1, 2, 3 position for action. Kelly?
Yes, so we had a position on the books for the current fiscal year. It was an administrative analyst position with a salary range of 39. It's currently vacant, and so I took the opportunity to review the job description and wanted to make it more clear on what the scope of the position was. It was previously pretty general, and so this is renaming it to a water resources analyst to have really a focus on water supply planning, water resources strategy, and really assisting management with water resources decision making. And so it really just kind of, I think, will help with recruitment of someone who's really interested in that. It also has this elements of the previous position for budgeting and rate analysis, which, I actually used to be an analyst and did both the water rates and the water supply planning. So I think I have compared it with what other agencies do for this type of a classification and found a lot of examples that are pretty consistent with the scope of it. And then I was proposing that we have 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3, so that when we recruit, we can either underfill or hire at someone with more experience, and also offer promotional opportunities over time for whoever is brought into the position. That really, level 1 is the entry level, where, providing a lot of direction. Level 2 is expanded, more complex tasks. And then level 3 is really the lead role, working independently, and it kind of varies depending on years of experience. The job description was reviewed by the union, and they did approve it. They noted that our current structure within the organization might be difficult to hire to level 1 with the level of supervision that would be needed, particularly by me, just not having a lot of time to spend with someone at a level 1, but that's, something I would have to work through at the time if that's the direction we went for the hiring. So if the board is willing to approve this, like I said, it did go through the union and they approved it. We would start recruitment for the position right after the board approval, and use the budget that was allocated for the administrative analyst towards the water resources analyst position.
Any questions? Then we can have a motion, please.
Polly makes a motion to authorize classification and associated salary ranges for water resource analyst 1, 2, and 3 position.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? A roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Weerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Then we got item number 9J, adopt resolution number 1182, requesting that the general election to be held on November 3, 2026, be consolidated with other elections called to be held on the same day and in the same territory. Kelly?
Yes, so we have 3 of our divisions up for election this year. It's divisions 1, 3, and 5. We previously provided the election schedule in a previous packet, but if anyone has questions, just let me know. This resolution is more of just a procedural formality that the county is requesting to, formalize that our election is going to be on the same election held November 3rd. So really a procedural issue, just to confirm that's what you're electing to do.
Any questions?
I'll move for the adoption of Resolution 1182 as read by title.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please, Lisa.
Director O'Connor?
Aye.
Director Holcomb?
Yes.
Director Balch is absent. Director Roberts?
Aye.
Director Van Weerden?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Okay, item number 10, director reports. 10A, Comb regular meeting, June 22nd, 2026. Patrick?
Yeah, just briefly, the board positions were renewed, the leadership jobs renewed for President Sneddon and VP Heyman. Quite a bit of discussion about the Sheffield Tunnel. Biggest, I think, message there is there was $6 million approved from the aging infrastructure account by the state, so that's good news. They got some money. That may not be enough, so stand by. The department reports were pretty typical. Lots of gymnastics around Sheffield Tunnel and the isolation valve to get ready for that work. The lower outlet and lots of fish in the creeks, and significant discussion in closed session. And that was all.
Thanks, Patrick. And then we got item number 11, general manager's report. What I like to do is, if any of the board members have any questions on 11A, the financial report. If there's none, I'd like to move on to 11B, the engineering report. If there's no questions, move on to item C, intent to serve letter report. And if there's none there, then 11D, operations report. And if there's no questions there, then we move on to agenda item number 12. And on 12, Kelly, you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, we currently have a pretty light agenda for July 8th, so I was going to propose that we cancel that meeting unless the board has something they wanted to discuss. And otherwise, our next meeting would be July 22nd. And at that meeting, we'll have the hearing on the cap property tax roll charges.
Okay, but there's no motion. I just announced that it's going to be July 22nd.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So consider dates and items for the agenda for the Carpinteria Valley Water District Board meeting of July 22nd at 5:30 p.m. Carpinteria City Hall, 5775 Carpinteria Avenue, Carpinteria, California. And we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.